Grafting techniques is ways to take a rootstock of one plant that's quite vigorous and put a signwood of another plant on top of it. So a signwood is a part of a plant that you like the characteristics of it. It's got nice fruit or nice nuts, and you want to grow that plant, but it either grows too big, if you just took a cutting of it and stuck it in the ground, or just grow into too big a tree, or it doesn't grow very well in that particular site, so it doesn't grow well in the particular soil you have, or there's pests around there that it has a vulnerability to. So by putting it onto a rootstock, you can change the characteristics of that tree a little bit. Often a dwarf rootstock's used, and a dwarf rootstock will grow a smaller tree, but you can also get rootstocks which will be better adapted to particular soils or have resistance to certain pests. And the kind of techniques you do is either take a section of stem of your signwood and create a whip and tongue graft, where you create a shape on the rootstock and the signwood that matches each other, and that matching shape will help secure the graft in place. And then when you join the two together, you tape it all up to make sure that no airborne fungi or airborne bacteria can get into that graft and infect it and kill it. And then once it's securely fastened and taped up, you will hopefully get a join between the two cambium layers of the signwood and the rootstock, and that allows a flow of sugar and water to be established between the sign and the rootstock, and then the signwood will be nurtured by all the water drawn up by the rootstock, and it will start to grow leaves and photosynthesize, and there'll be a flow of sugar as well, so it will start to establish itself as a new tree. And that really only works if the signwood and the rootstock are quite closely related to each other. So like two apple trees or two pear trees or two types of lemon trees. But if you try to put an apple tree on top of a pear tree, they're not similar enough for this join to establish, so it'll die. So it works well with quite closely related trees. Two alternatives to this whip and tongue graft is just using a bud. So it's taking a bud off the tree you want and inserting it into the bark of your rootstock. And this is quite good if you want to grow lots of different types of signwood trees from one rootstock, because you can just insert different buds of different signwoods on your rootstock and they'll all grow out into those different trees. So if you want to produce an apple tree which has 5 or 6 varieties of apples, or a pear tree with 5 or 6 varieties of pears, this is quite a nice technique to do that. And the last one is called top working. And top working is when you've got an older tree that you don't want to use anymore. It might be starting to get diseased or losing its vigorous growth, or you just might not like that type of tree anymore.